Good evening, everyone out there in the podcast world. It's time for another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. Brandis, say hello to the peoples.
Hello.
Yeah,
Happy
we
Thursday.
yeah, we on Thursday.
Hmm.
We decided to come back out here and do a little chit chat about some stuff that we've been thinking about. And then we got a wild card throw in just for the sake of throwing something in. Uh so I know we late to the dance, but we decided that we might as well do like everybody else and talk a little bit about this number one, this Shedeur Sanders business. If
Hmm.
we can do that briefly, and then talk about a little bit about Shannon, what's his name?
Brother Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp. I don't know why I didn't want to say Sharp. And we talk a little bit about them too. And then I think we'll wrap it up talking a little bit about this current administration, if we don't mind. So Brandon, I don't know if you want to jump in straight. Which one you want to take on first?
Hold on. Can y'all hear me? 'Cause I don't hear me on there.
Don't say we can't
Let
hear
me make
Brandon.
sure. You know they love to say,
Say something, Brandon.
check one.
Don't say we can't hear Brandon.
Nope. Because I don't hear me. Hold on.
Yeah, because I can hear me. Don't say we doing it again.
Check one, two.
No.
It's a delay. You know it's gonna come up in a second. There you go. I think we good now. I see
Okay.
the levels moving now.
Okay, there we go. Well, all right. Yeah, I guess that's because we play around, don't do this
Too
show.
much. I know every time I gotta go in and fix the
Right,
audio.
right. So here's the thing.
Yep. There you
Okay. So where we want to start? Where we want to start? Where we want to jump off first?
go.
Which
Okay.
bit of nonsense do we want to get into first?
We so much we can pick our nonsense.
Right, right.
Okay, so let's talk about Shedeur first.
Okay. Because that's really I guess the least of the three,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
will. So yeah. So go ahead. I know you watched a little bit of that draft.
Yes, I watched because I was just one reflecting, thinking about wow, a year ago,
Right.
right? We were in Detroit,
Having a
and
ball.
I literally sent a message to one of my group chats, like, when is the draft? Right? Isn't it coming? Because I felt, did I miss it? What's happening here? And
Right.
we laughed like that's so crazy how quickly you become removed when you're
Yeah.
not a real fan because it wasn't here in my town or city, and I just wasn't watching like that to look know the dates of it.
Wait,
Um,
to say that real quick before you,
mhm.
because the amount of people they said was at the first day of the draft in Green Bay was twice as many people as actually live in Green Bay.
And it still fell short of Detroit's
Still
numbers.
fell short. Still fell short. Right. So go
um,
ahead. What you're saying?
so once I figured out when it was, then of course I tuned in to, just kind of see, at least I need to know the top five so I could, have
Mhm.
conversation pieces.
Sure.
People gonna be talking about, I need to be able to engage.
Right.
Um, and then all of a sudden it became we're at like number 10 and Shedeur is still sitting. And then it went to number 15, number two, like, and it just kept going. Then I think people started to realize, oh wow, this is really happening.
Right.
They are doing this. Like, is the NFL really sending this message to whether it's Shedeur or to Dion, to somebody?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the conversations I heard or seen online were never really about the talent. It never was about like, he can't throw, he not the greatest right now, but
Right.
it wasn't like he wasn't comparable enough to be, drafted in
Hmm.
a first or early second round, pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we went from second round and third round, and it just started becoming like a whole, felt like it was just going to be a whole thing the weekend. Like this is going to go on and on forever. And finally, at number 144, Shedeur Sanders is drafted to the Cleveland Browns. Um,
We drafted that other guy.
and that's what we're saying, right? That other guy, like outside of Cam Ward and Genty and a couple other people, right? Who we were knowing to be prospects and going to be go really high.
Right.
we landed with number spot 144, which I couldn't have put that on a bingo card if I somebody had told me. I still would have said, "Hey, you're making that up. It's not going to be that far
Right,
back."
right. And especially since all the experts were projecting him as being either the top quarterback or number two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Coming from right people who know, who've
Right.
been around, who've watched this league, who know the ins and outs, and even they couldn't have told, didn't tell us that it would be that. So then it again became this conspiracy around. All right, what is the NFL doing? What message are they trying to send? Something's going on, right, beyond
Right.
what we know on the surface. Oh, he had terrible interviews at the combine. Like, oh, he was, very cocky. He wasn't humble at all. So this is a message to humble him and tell him this is our league. He doesn't own it. He doesn't get to pick where he wants to go. Then it was the whole, oh, he wants to go with Tom Brady and the Raiders. That's what he's trying to fall far down to end up there with him because that's his guy and all this chatter.
The Raiders drafted six, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So he still could have, if it was a Raiders thing.
Still would have been out of the top five.
Yeah. But it might, but at
Uh,
least he's been in the top 10.
yeah, I mean, anywhere in the first round, I think he
Or
would have
second round.
been, yeah, he would have been all right with probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the message was for him, if it was for Dion, or if it was a greater message abroad that hey, the NFL is still belongs to us, quote unquote.
Well,
Um,
well, let me throw this out here first because I heard this other crazy rumor that the reason why they pushed him back so far back in the draft is because the ratings was bad. And the powers that be knew that the longer it took for them to draft him, the more people would
would
watch.
tune in and watch. Okay,
That's as asinine a theory as I heard,
okay,
but you never know.
go with that.
But you never know. But for me, it just seems like, especially after if we go all the way back to Colin Kaepernick, we go all the way back to him, and we've seen some of the things that our Caucasian counterparts have done, and none of them have had any problem with getting into the league right around where they said they were going to be.
Drafted. Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had any problem with that, and nor we have had any problem with them getting kicked out of the league because they took a political stand. But it just seemed to me that the powers that be, will send it a message that we in charge and we gonna stay in charge.
Yep.
I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how good everybody say you are. We still in charge. And doggone it, you gonna find out today. And so,
Despite whatever you may think.
right, despite what you may think, despite what anybody might say, we're gonna keep you in a place. And really to me, in this era of Trump too, that doesn't seem completely out the realm of possibility to me. The era that we're in, that some of the madness that he's doing, this falls right in place with it. So,
Well,
you
he
know,
even got out there and made himself a little statement talking about they're crazy and well, maybe not those exact words, but he comes from, Deion Sanders, his father is great and he comes from that bloodline. So
oh, he
the
said that.
NFL would be, yeah, he put it, he got going and made
Oh,
him a statement, unless it was false news that I missed.
right.
Because I didn't go fact check it, but I seen a post where he was, saying all these great things about Dion, and this is his son. How dare y'all not think that he would be a great person in this league or whatever the case may be.
Right, right, right. So, okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, exactly that.
And,
Okay.
and
Thank you for
crazy
your
part,
opinion.
when they graded the team's drafts, how they did first round, second round, third, blah blah blah. Cleveland got better grade for fourth, fifth round than they did for first and second round.
I guess it got better for you after a while.
Well,
You could have.
if you get a guy that's rated as the number two, number three quarterback in the draft, and you get him as the sixth quarterback drafted in the fifth round, I guess you did do well in the fifth round.
Better than what you were doing here
Yeah.
earlier on.
Right, right. So yeah, it's and so all of that stuff is well and good, and it's we can debate it till the cows come home because unless somebody gets drunk one day and decides to tell what really happened, we gonna all just assume what we think happened.
Yep.
But I think the bigger news in the story was his reaction after he
Mm-hmm.
finally got drafted,
Yep.
because he wasn't angry, at least not publicly.
Yeah.
He wasn't flipped. He thanked them for drafting him, which is, ultimately all he can really do, because we don't, at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Everything was done. It
yeah,
already been done.
already been done. And at the end of the day, they control that process. Players don't control that. But at least he said the right thing, because now it comes for him to show on the field
Yep. That's it.
whether he's what he say he is,
Yep.
what we think he is. And
Exactly.
and the worst part about that though is
He
that
didn't win.
he does all that. Let's say he's the Shedeur Sanders that everybody thought he was. So now Cleveland gets all that talent at dollar store prices.
Yep.
What kind of crap? But I mean, I guess it is what it is, right?
Essentially. The only other last thing I wanted to touch on was the prank call that he got
Yeah.
right to this number. That was supposed to be dedicated solely to franchise, teams and managers and things of that nature. And what was it, the defensive coordinator's son from the Falcons
Yeah,
accessed his father's tablet or whatever at the house and
right.
got Shadeur's number and prank called him.
Yeah,
Um, and it looks like they said that the team, I think, it's being fined 250,000,
$150,000.
and then the coach, the
The father,
specifically, yeah, he's 100,000
right,
into him.
right.
So I mean, granted, it's something. I'll take it, because and they kept saying, "Oh, it's just a kid playing a prank," and I'm like, "You're 21, and granted, your mindset may be, not as mature, and we know people do make money on the internet, social media, doing pranks all day long too. So I get the culture of it, but on this day, like the world's biggest stage, like, yeah, no. So
Yeah,
somebody got to pay. Somebody got to pay.
especially with him going through what has to be a major disappointment.
Yes.
Because they said they prank called a couple other guys, but one guy they did a prank call with, he got drafted the next pick. So he
Mm-hmm.
still went in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, whoopee. But while they saying kids to be kids, boys to be boys with these pranks, but you've seen some of these pranks out on the internet where people have
Didn't go
gotten
right.
jumped
Mm-hmm.
on, almost gotten shot,
Yep.
and the whole nine playing around.
Went a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can call it what you want to call it, but you mess around with the wrong person and the wrong
You're gonna
thing.
find out. You're gonna
So
find out.
exactly. So
So yeah, we'll take some fines and something, whatever
right,
that might be, of dropping a bucket. They might be paying for his 100,000, whatever. It may not come out of his pocket. I don't care, but at least it's
right.
out there that, hey, we
$100,000
recognize
for a
that.
coach ain't assistant coach ain't that ain't no nothing to sneeze at.
Yes, so I said they probably helping him pay
Oh yeah.
it. So
But I don't know that I would, because he didn't protect sensitive information. People have lost their jobs over stuff like that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not the fact that his son called, but the fact that his father didn't secure that information.
And way less, big arenas, right? And
Right.
simple stuff. We had a situation that where I work, a piece of so a person's information was not shredded properly, ended up on the street. Somebody took a picture of it. It ended up on social media, and then we ended up on the news.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So
Wow.
that became a whole thing. So it's I don't know whatever became of that situation, the staff at that location, but
Right.
essentially, it's like things happen.
Right.
So
Right.
there
And,
should be some repercussions for action.
especially things that shouldn't happen
Hmm.
when they happen. So yeah. So until we get into next season,
Yeah, to know what he gonna put
right,
them cleats on the turf and do.
right. We on the waiting mode.
Stand behind them still.
and,
Cause
and
he,
the
yeah,
other
you don't deserve that.
right, the other thing what we talked about earlier is that the one thing I hate is that how the black folks start coming out the woodworks. Oh, he ain't that good, no way. How you know?
You watched a single Colorado
Ain't
game.
played the game. How you know? These people get paid to evaluate talent, say he is. And you gonna jump up talking about he ain't. That
Yeah.
reminds me of the people that just hate LeBron James just because they hate him.
Hate him.
No
Just
matter what
hate
happened, they
him.
just LeBron ain't thinking about none of y'all, but y'all gotta keep his name on y'all mouth. Whatever happened. Y'all gotta say something about him. So these sideline prognosticators really need to shut up.
We didn't call for y'all. Can
Like
y'all
nobody
tell us
calling to
where
ask
y'all
anything.
came from?
Calling to ask me anything. So so
Uh,
we so we wait and see.
yeah.
So now here's here's the crazy one. The next one, Mr. Shannon Sharp.
Oh, Uncle Shay Shay.
Right.
I don't know where this nickname came from. I've never called that man that
Well, Shay
besides
Shay,
the podcast. Yeah.
because I don't know. Because I guess somebody thought it was clever.
Okay.
We're gonna give him a club.
We're gonna give him a club.
What we gonna call the club? Shay Shay,
Shay
what you
Shay.
Shay Shay, that's their club, Shay Shay. Okay. Whatever.
We're going with it, eh?
Let's go with that. And and to his credit, because quite frankly, I never saw any of his episodes until Cat Williams was on there talking all this craziness. And then every week somebody was coming on there telling, spilling all
Talking
the
some
beans.
more. He
So
became the thing, the couch to go sit on,
yeah, let's go.
have you a little drink, cognac.
Well, you can't sit
And
at the red table no more.
oh yeah.
so so yeah, let's sit at there and that's he got his own little cognac. So okay, cool. Let's do that. Go on and make that money. But every
Yeah.
time one of us start making some money, getting a little fame, here it come.
Here it comes.
Here it come. And especially when we like to go skiing.
Get
As
in the snow.
get in the snow.
Both of the snows. Either of them gets us in trouble.
Every time. And first, is it true? Who the heck knows? But like they said with all the rest of them, where there's smoke, there's probably a little
There's
fire.
mhm.
Probably a little fire. And they always come out the woodworks, although only one other person has come out the woodworks with a current revelation or accusation. But I was reading, looking up, seeing what was going on with this man, and they said that in let me see, because they talking about less than a decade later, but a few years ago, January 1995, he got into an altercation with a woman at his Atlanta home.
Mm.
Watch this. Each A police spokesperson said at the time, each person said they were hit by the other person. Excuse me. So as a result, both Sharp and this woman, who the U.S. Sun has chosen not to name, which bothers me, because we quick to throw the man's name all
All the
in the mud,
time.
drag him everywhere, but the woman's name was not revealed. Well, he made accusation on her. So I think she should get the same
Treatment.
treatment that he gets. But they said they were both charged with simple battery. The woman was also charged with destruction of property after she allegedly, man, this 30 years ago. We been allegedly. You know what happened, but she was allegedly charged. Well, she allegedly broke glasses and things, according to the spokesperson speaking to the Washington Post at the time. So this was a mutual admiration society. They hitting on each other. What they
Mm-hmm.
got to do with this case? And
No, and
then,
it's very, it needs to be brought back up so people can have opinions and thoughts and,
right. So watch this. Less than a decade later, he found himself facing similar charges stemming from an incident with yet another woman inside his Atlanta home. First, Shannon, quit bringing women to your house. Let's
how do
start there.
we not know this by now?
Sure. So a Fulton County clerk confirmed that Shannon Sharp was charged with simple battery on July 22nd, 2004. Watch this. She claimed he lifted her up to physically remove him from his house, from her, physically remove her from his house. The alleged incident occurred in June, and the woman reported it to police 2 weeks later. So his simple battery was him picking her up and putting her out in his house because she refused to leave.
Refused to leave. Okay.
What? So here's the thing. So he gets trolled now. Now when this stuff come up now, everything you ever did
It's always on blast.
is always going to be announced. They bring up stuff that happened years ago that really didn't amount to a whole lot of nothing when you look at what they said happened. And now you put that on blast.
Yeah, and we could tell the emphasis or value that was placed on it, because if that was still, if it held weight or if people felt the way about it, you wouldn't have landed some of the deals that you're in now, because that happened. It would have
Mm.
preceded all the things
Right.
that, came along with more fame, more money, and all that. So it's like that kind of got pushed back. So, but now we got to put it back up here because we need things to, make this whole weight, this new lawsuit. It needs to be supported by claims from somewhere else,
Yeah,
because that's the only way, now people got to know you have a history of this. This is your character, this is
exactly.
your nature.
And watch this. The other part is, let's see, he turned himself in. He was thrown in jail. He posted $1,000 bond less
Mm-hmm.
than 24 hours later. They said his attorney at the time claimed he very appropriately and lawfully simply picked her up and gently put her outside of his home. The case was ultimately resolved in mediation. Here's the second part. Celebrities always resolve cases by
Mm-hmm.
throwing money at it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they say is the truth, they throw money at it. So now if you're gonna give somebody some money,
Heck yeah. I felt abused too. And
everybody gonna
no
start feeling abused.
disrespect to any victims or anything, but
Right.
it's a quick cash grab out here.
Give me some money too.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to what recently happened. Now here's the problem. Shannon Sharp, this chick that you messing around with, what messed around with, because this happened a few years ago. Was 19 years old when it supposedly happened.
Yeah.
You was a fair 20 something years older than her. I'm somewhere around there. Uh, why y'all keep messing with these young white girls? I'm gonna say it just like that. Why y'all keep doing it? Because every time somebody sneeze, you on the news talking about what you did or didn't do, getting sued. And quite frankly, whether you did it or you didn't do it, you're on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And you put yourself in position for this to
To
happen.
be, yeah, and
That's
and
what you did.
continue to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Everybody always thinks, oh, that's not gonna be me, or oh, and I don't even know if they thinking that. Honestly at this point, because I don't see how anybody couldn't exist and not have that fear or have that in your mind that, okay, I've seen this story so many times that
Right.
even if I think I know I'm not that type of person or that couldn't happen to me, that's not to say somebody else's actions, the whoever you're dealing with or messing with, what their real intentions are.
Right.
You open yourself up to that. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And like in his first case that he was charged with, they said they both hit each other. So so let's say you don't put your hands on nobody. Let's
mm-hmm,
say you don't. At the point that they put their hands on you, what you gonna do? Because if you grab them to restrain them, you're gonna be charged with battery
yep,
or assault. That's what you're gonna be charged with because you put your hands on them, regardless of whether it was to defend yourself. They're gonna charge you with it. Now the court can mediate it or can just get it out, try it out in court. But usually, because you're making a little bit of money and you want it to go away, you're gonna give
you
them
lost
some
some more
money.
money. Yep, yep. And then you risk, oh, the amount is not good enough. Now, what else are you going to come up with, or who else is like, what's the lawyer Busby, or I think Busby or someone that went after Jay-Z recently with
Okay.
the him, and they're like, oh, that's all he does is go find people who got a story and find a bunch of people that can jump on this, and now we going after, these entertainment figures.
Right.
Um, so it's like, how much money you willing to spend, right? How much fun you want to have that you ultimately gonna have to pay for later. It
Just
can't be
go,
worth it.
right. Just go get you one of them girls that pay you to beat them up.
It just can't be worth it. Get it in writing. And then by this point, why we don't have NDAs and something contracts and all kind of stuff signed up, that you may not pursue any legal actions against me based on anything that's done to you with your consent.
But see, that's the problem.
Can't fabricate stories and all this stuff.
But that's the problem. Because if you remember, Tiger Woods with the girl that was living with him, that they couldn't get her to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, Tiger wants you to fly on out to so and so, and he gonna meet you there. And so she goes to the airport, gets on the plane, and when she gets on the plane, they changed all the
All
locks
the
in
locks.
the house.
Thank you. We just needed you
Okay,
gone.
so then he had her she had signed an NDL or
NDA.
whatever it was, that the only whatever they agreement, common law agreement, that she couldn't get any money from him. She couldn't sue him for any money unless he physically harmed her, physically abused her. So when they asked her, did she first do it? Did she physically? And she said no. There was no physical abuse. Come back later, a few days later, and says, yeah, he did. Because when she found out she wasn't gonna get no money,
No money.
she said, well, yeah, he did. So the thing about it is, no matter what you had these folks
Do
find,
fine. Yeah, yeah.
they gonna say what they got to say in the moment to get what they think they need to get. Ultimately, she wound up not getting the money. But why I got to change locks to get you out of my house? In my house.
Y'all got to just stop dealing with crazy at this point too.
Hey,
Now I'm looking at you because you willingly dealing with crazy.
right,
People just these, and yes, they do. I'm gonna say it, but I'm also say yes, it does. But these things don't just show up, because we've seen people, click out. But there are signs and flags. You thought it was cute when you ain't want to leave. Oh, I'm gonna just stay. I'm gonna just stay here. You go ahead and leave me here.
right,
Read the room.
right.
Yeah,
You come back and now she got
a bag and a suitcase.
right, all kind of clothes in the house and everything. But these guys, but the thing about it is too, and we always try to be fair and not throw people in broad categories.
Mm-hmm.
But most of these women have a certain theme about them. First and foremost, none of them come from money. They status climbers.
That I have seen yet. I haven't seen one that was.
One yet. They are people who are chasing after status and fame and fortune. And when they hook their wagon to you, whoever you are, black man, you become an easy mark. Because it's real easy for the community at large to believe that this big black guy was pushing around the little white girl. It's easy to believe that. And then they don't make it any better on themselves because most of these guys that are in this position, they were why you think and you fall in love with who you fall in love with.
Right.
But
Or you just like what you like.
or you like what you like. But at the same time, if you like what you like, don't berate what you don't say you don't like. And most of them guys, time and time again, talk negatively about black women, about how they got big mouths, how they, you know,
Uh, Take accountability.
right? They
We fussy. We
yeah,
we.
yeah, yeah, all that. Oh, it's a lot of these female podcasts out there talking about how the the average black man who dates white women.
The reason why.
The reason why, but the worst part is nobody cares why. If you want to date them. That's your business. But why you got to turn around and talk negatively about the black women? They ain't messing with you. Leave them alone.
Ain't came bit more sought after you.
No, you
We
don't.
already know what you're doing.
Right.
I already know. I ain't even. These days, I'm more shocked when I'm like, "Oh, it's a black woman on his arm." Okay.
Exactly. And then
Otherwise,
otherwise, and then when you get in trouble, then you want the community to come to the rescue and support you.
My favorite comment these days when I'm in the on the social media scrolling and seeing, and they be like, "Y'all, this not our business. Keep
Right,
on.
right.
What y'all eating for dinner tonight? What y'all? I'm going to the store. Y'all need something
All
because
the folks that care are the
right,
ones that trying to make money by caring about
yeah,
everything that
yeah."
happens.
In
We
which case, I understood. Get
right,
your bags behind some stories and some headlines, whatever. But
got to
for
talk
real,
about whatever happened so we can get our money.
yeah,
And so that's how it works. But Shannon, we can't feel sorry for you. It's like it's funny, like Stephen A. Smith was talking about, all this stuff about Shannon Sharp comes up after he has the big play,
mm-hmm.
excuse me, on Club Shay Shay, after Cat Williams told him about why he don't mess around with white women in Hollywood. Told him why. Monique said,
You
Unc, you
see
don't need to be
some
doing that.
yeah.
After these folks told him. And all of a sudden you get caught up in a trick bag after you've been warned. How can we feel sorry for you? I mean,
It's very hard. It's a little difficult, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
hate to see anybody drug through the mud, and when people are falsely accused them and all those things.
right.
I hate it for anyone. But also, again, stop opening yourself up to be susceptible to these types of things, for
Yeah.
these things to happen to you
Right. Because we don't know whether accusations are true or false. We
or
don't know.
false.
We wasn't there.
Absolutely wasn't. And now they're saying he don't want to watch the tape. He's refusing to watch the footage of it, and they
Well,
won't tell why.
well, no, they told why.
Oh, they did. They said why. Okay.
They said that there was a tape they had of him and her having consensual sex.
Mm-hmm.
And they took that tape and they edited it to make it look like it was
It was
unconsensual.
something different.
Yes. That's what he said. So he said the only tape he will gonna watch is the real unedited tape, the full unedited tape. That's what he'll watch. But this other tape y'all showing, I won't watch that. That's what they said. So, and then it's the whole thing with his lawyer. They said that they met with her people last year, so 2 years ago, and they talked about a settlement. Said
Mm-hmm.
that Shannon Sharp offered him $10 million. His lawyer said that they didn't bring up any money. Her lawyers said $10 million. And they told them you must be crazy. And then this $50 million lawsuit showed up.
It's always that number, right? I mean, thinking back, Diddy and Cassie, that whole thing, it ain't true, it's so false, and I'm being taken down. I would have never done these things, and all this, and then a video. Y'all settle, and then now we see a video.
And the thing about it is in his case, in Diddy's case, ooh, he gave that money up so fast. And she took it so fast.
And that was, I think that for me was more. I'm like, yeah, I know that he gonna make it go away, but it was okay, girl.
Right. Yeah.
Now, is it true? Or are you just like at this point, this is what it feels like I'm going to be able to get from it, or I'm just going to open the door, get what my money and go, and y'all all can walk through it now. Like now it's out here, so y'all all can go through the hardship and the struggle and the trial and having to do all the X, Y, Z and figure it out. Y'all can go research it,
Yeah.
but I'm healed enough to see that this dollar amount, does something.
Well,
Says
and you
something.
know what people need to realize too is the point you just made right there is the key point. It don't matter whether he did it or not. But I mean, if he did do it, what is going to court going to get you? If you can get a couple $1 million out of him, you need to take that $1 million because him going to facing a trial and going through all that mess, even if a judge believes it, because first of all, this is a civil case.
Mhm.
This is not a criminal case.
Criminal, right? Not criminal.
So what is him getting convicted going to do any more than him paying you hush money? I think it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. He paying for you to go away. His reputation is forever sullied.
Yep, I already took the hit.
Already took the hit. Ain't nobody gonna believe you didn't do it because you're paying all this money, get them to go away.
To go away.
So
Yeah.
get your money. I know I was a union
Your
steward.
money, man.
Yeah, I was a union steward. I had this case where this girl was claiming that and in fact she was doing work of a higher graded employee. And so usually when we go do these cases, the resolution, there's only one resolution. Well, one's part of resolution if they did in fact do it, is to give the person the position of the work you had them doing and the back pay for the time they were doing it. That's your resolution. That's what we can get you. That's the best we can get you. And they told me, well, I don't want to, you know, uh, uh, litigate this thing because I really don't want to get this person in trouble. I just don't want to do it again. That well, the only way you can kind of guarantee they won't do it again is to make them pay. Is to make them pay. If you don't make them pay, then they're gonna keep right on doing it because the only thing they're concerned about is money. Is money. So get that money. Get that money.
Pockets.
Yeah,
You know,
because
it is,
otherwise they're gonna keep on doing what they're doing and nobody cares. So
as unfortunate as it is,
yeah,
we
yeah,
need to recognize that, okay, people are settling because they realize there's a lot of power, there's a lot of influence, and also just downright, frankly, the justice system sometimes will disappoint you. So instead of me being on the short end of the stick looking crazy and my feelings hurt, I done opened a wound and, all this, I might as well get something out of it.
right, right.
If I'm gonna do it, I might as well be getting something out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, ultimately, people don't care. I mean, look how the election, they don't care.
Yeah. 2 months later,
Yeah.
I don't care.
But I mean, because when we hear what was done, how it was done, she probably should have won. But since a certain segment of the population don't really care about us, you, them, she
Mm-hmm.
didn't win. And so that's a perfect segue for topic number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we talked about this before. I know it's been talked about in some circles. It is amazing to me the stuff that our sitting president gets away with. It's like they just had a thing out there now saying that he met with the automakers and he's going to figure out a way that can roll back the tariffs so they don't get hit so hard by this thing. Because really, all I want to do is bring the jobs back to America. That ain't
My
what you did.
intention is my intention is this. Says who? Who said it?
And even his first term in office, his MO has not changed. He creates a crisis. He does crazy stuff and creates a crisis and had everybody up in arms. And then he turns around,
Swoop in, thinking
swoop
he the
in,
hero.
and fixes the problem that he created.
Create
And everybody, ooh, look at what Trump did. He created this problem.
to begin with. It did not exist in its form. If you want to go that deep in this variation of it,
Right.
it may
It
have
did
been
not
here,
exist.
but it wasn't this.
And then it's like, did you see that when they announced the first quarter numbers?
Mm-mm.
Now you know that anything that's done happened since he's been president, anything that's happened that was positive, he's taking credit for it, right?
Yeah.
He said when these first quarter numbers came in, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's Joe Biden.
Had they been
All
better,
this Joe Biden stuff. Well, hold on. Joe Biden was not president in the first quarter of this year. Now you just came to Michigan with your little 100-day achievement. This announcement they made is for what's happened during your
in
first
your
day.
100 days, sir.
Really? Create a crisis, solve the crisis, and then take credit for solving the crisis.
Stand on the mountain, stand on the podium, celebrate the
Right.
victory.
And then turn around and blame your predecessor for the problem that you created. And even worse than that, he went back because Biden was president for 4 years. He was president for 4 years. He went back on one thing, trying to blame Obama for something that just
Anybody. Hey, you over there. Blame to say they did it.
I was watching, I was looking at something. And Jasmine Crockett came on with a video while they were Congress,
Mhm.
they were on break. And they were talking about how they had just voted to allow Trump to be able to have American citizens deported. The Constitution says that U.S. citizens can't be deported. A couple people they deported were U.S. citizens, and so the amendment was proposed just to say that we're gonna follow what the Constitution say, basically, that you can't do that, and they voted it down. So then they came back and came an amendment to it and said that they should be able to deport whoever he feels he needs to be deport, and they voted to pass that to allow U.S. citizens to be deported. Boy, boy, boy. I don't know. I don't know what we got going on here. Well, I kind of know.
No.
I kind of know. I done seen it happen on TV and too many movies and TV shows.
And meanwhile, we're standing here like, this real. This is our real life. This is reality for us.
Yeah.
This is
This,
actually happening.
what was that? It was on, I was watching this. Was it yesterday? They were talking to some of these nutcases, these lawmakers. And this chick had the nerve to say, 4 more years, 4 more years.
Where?
I'm
Ma'am, no.
trying to
Absolutely
think, who was she?
ridiculous.
Because when she came up, oh no, she wasn't a lawmaker. She was she had some kind of photography position.
Okay.
She came saying, and then she and him. I know I'm not supposed to say this. I know it's not right, but she's probably the most beautiful photographer I've ever seen. She's the most beautiful. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but and she's probably good at photography too. But she's got to be the most beautiful. Really?
Oh, goodness. Absurd.
Other folks say less than half of that, and they got them standing in front of a judge.
Trying to sort through it.
And they and this is not by accident that none of this stuff is going on.
Oh, yeah.
They all signed up as scared as they may be down the road. They all signed up for this crap, and still signing off on it every step of the way.
Nobody yet has
Not from that side.
band together enough, right? To
Not from
say,
that side of the aisle. They ain't.
yeah, they all with it.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd just throw that little thing in, because every day we see something else happen. So that's why I was so shocked that they said he made that comment about Shedeur
Mm-hmm.
or Dion. I'm shocked. But the other side of the coin, if you voted for him or support him, and I don't know what Dion did or didn't. I know that Saquon Barkley,
Was up there getting a tour and hanging out with them.
oh, patting him on the back and all that stuff. Yeah, So like really, and he's like, I respect the position. Well, the guy that you sit there chilling with, playing golf with, he don't respect the position.
Yeah, the position yours, nobody.
He don't respect the one he in. They showed you saw the thing with the guy. What's that gang? What is that gang? I can't think of the name, but it's a gang. But this guy they deported. He had tattoos, symbols on his knuckles, on his fingers, and then somebody Photoshop is AS 150 something 160 something whatever it is. Some get this gang.
Okay.
They you can see where it was photoshopped, and it wasn't even a good Photoshop job on his knuckles. And Trump told the reporter said that is not a gang sign. That is photo. Oh, you tell me I got the picture. You want me to show you the picture? I've seen the picture, and it was a bad Photoshop job. No, he's really that. He's really this gang member. He has it. It's right there. It's right. Really. And then he told the guy, the only reason I'm letting you interview me is because you basically were a nobody, and I just want to give you a chance.
Oh, wow.
Because the guy that didn't want to agree with him
Mhm.
pictured it that they gave him was somebody put that on. Come on,
Keep your chance.
this guy. Wow, it's craziness at its best. And so,
It's only May.
wow, ain't that crazy?
Yes.
There's more to go.
There's more where that came from. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that every day. I was like, whoa, this won't be this will be over soon. Then no, it won't.
No, it will not. We just got
No,
to
it
go
won't.
through it. We just got to deal with it and go through it.
Yeah, keep on coming back in. And so two takeaways, I guess. Well, let me see. One, two, three. Three. Yeah, one from each story. Quit praising that guy for tearing something up and then making steps toward fixing it. Because he don't even fix it all the way. Quit praising him for that. Because he tore it up. He broke it. He ought to fix it. He broke it. But he shouldn't have broken it to begin with. That's one.
One.
Two, watch who you're sleeping with, who you're letting in your house. And if you see a pattern, understand that it can happen to you too.
You too.
You
I heard of me too. You too. They
too.
need to start that movement.
Right. Well, they did.
Oh, what was that one?
The You Too movement. Oh,
Oh, it's a you, me
it
too.
was me too. That was me too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be a you two already. I don't know,
It ought to.
but it
You
needs to
too.
be.
And the third one, and I guess this is the good one, is that no matter what happens, hold your head up high and do what you need to do to make what you want to happen happen. Because some folks just ain't going to give you the keys no matter
Yeah.
what. You don't fit the profile.
Yep. In any case, do what you do.
Do what you do. If you do that, then we're gonna be all right. But if you can't do what you say you can do, what was all the talk about?
What was the noise?
Yeah. So crazy. Anything else you seen out here, Brandis?
No, that was it. That's basically the headlines, and also, 100 men cannot beat a gorilla. That's it. That's, that's it. That's all.
I,
That's all.
wait a minute. Was that real?
No, I don't know where it came from, but that's just all I see. First, it was everybody talking about sinners, and now it's the 100 men against a
100
gorilla.
men. Did you see it? 100 men
Sinners?
gorilla.
No.
I saw this video. It said the last man standing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
100 men versus a gorilla. And so the guy was like, you could hear the gorilla, and the guy was like, "Hey, wait a minute, no." And so then the guy, he was backing up. Then he said, "Wait a minute." He started taking off his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost related to you. Look, and he started acting like a gorilla, and moving back and forth like a gorilla, and then took off running. That's all.
That's how you survive
Yeah.
it.
But really, 100 men versus a gorilla.
100 men versus gorilla. Those are the things we're chatting about these days on here.
Well, you saw the guy jumped in the pond near his house. He said he saw two eagles fighting. No, they showed him in the water. He saw two bald eagles fighting, and one of them spanked that behind, and the eagle fell into this water,
Okay.
and he must have been hurt because he was disoriented, he couldn't fly. So this guy jumps in the water to save the eagle. So, hey, my hero. And then he looked and saw an alligator or crocodile, whatever, circling around near where he was saving, because he was trying to swim with this group with this
Eagle.
the eagle started flapping his wing, hitting him in his face.
I bet you wish you wouldn't have did that.
But he got him out the water.
Okay, good.
But what get me is this is how stupid they are. So then they show this video of this lake with all these alligators in it. Hundreds of alligators in the lake swimming like a feeding frenzy. And they're gonna say, no, this not the lake he was in. Well, why are you showing it?
It had nothing at all
It
to
got
do.
nothing to do with this. So he got it. But they showed him swimming
with
the
it.
eagle.
Wow.
They showed him. I think, did he try to kiss the eagle or something? But it was like, come on, really? You gonna jump in real water known to have alligators in it to get this bird out of there? Okay. But as far as that movie Sinners, I haven't seen it, but they, of course, you got different.
Yeah, so many takes out there, so many,
Right. So I don't know. And I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it. I don't know.
At this point, you catch it when it's streaming.
Yeah. I hear too many weird stories about what it is and what it ain't. So
Yeah.
but that's what's out there in the world right now. Is that foolishness? I did see a ton of videos with folks getting shot. They showed them live getting shot.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably saw 4 of them. Yeah, maybe 5 yesterday. One, this police officer was trying to pull this guy over. He was talking calm to the guy. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. I just need to see your ID so we can get to the bottom of whatever going on. Blah blah blah. And my man said, "Okay, no problem." And then floored it. And the police officer was hanging on to the door. You gonna kill me? You gonna kill me? Oh, stop! You gonna kill me? This guy driving, speeding, and he hanging on. I don't know how he did it, but he got his gun out. Now this is what got me. I don't know if the guy finally decided to stop, because when he started, he shot the guy, but like the guy was trying to get out the seat when he shot him. But he shot him about 2 or 3 times, and then the guy got out and fell on the ground. And I done seen several, but what this guy was, just him and this girl got into it. They tried to break it up because he slapped her or something, and so this guy came with breaking it up, and they pushed the guy back, and and now the guy who stopped it, he must have knew what was about to happen because he got away from the girl. The guy pulled a gun out and went to shoot.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's what's going on out there on the internet. I don't know if we want to actually spend time out there.
It's like oh no, scroll quickly.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff going left real fast. So
that's what we're working with.
That's what we're working with, and we got to wait a few weeks, few months to see the outcome.
Yeah.
Of these things, but
we'll circle back when we get something to report on for sure.
That's right. But black man, if you're making a whole lot of money, you need to be careful who you hang out with.
Even the ones you think you grew up with, that's gonna have you all of them. The ones that put John Moran on there with the gun was his friends on live.
I was telling Tanya yesterday. We was talking about that because they were talking about how they these folks that when they come up, they said the reason why they hanging out with white people because that's all they're around. Yeah. When they got all this money, and for the most part, especially like golfers and those kind of people. Well, it's like when I look at the people on the news, local news, all the people they seem to, the majority of the people they seem to be hanging out are white people that they work with. You know that's the group you hanging around with because when you call yourself making it, you grew up in the hood, but most of these people, the people they grew up with, ain't no good for them. Wasn't no good for them before they got money. Now they ain't no good for you because they got their hands stuck out. They trying to hold you down, posting pictures of you holding guns on the internet, doing all this craziness. So they ain't no good for you. So now, if you didn't come from a stable environment before you became wealthy, popular, whatever, then it's real unlikely that the environment that you have after you come into your fame
you obtain your fame. Yep.
is going to be a stable environment, whoever it is. Because we tend to hang out with the same kind of people. It just don't matter what color they is.
Yep.
It might just different color, but they still the same.
Gravitate toward that same energy, same.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's common, it's comfortable. I'm kind of, we don't look the same, but this feels the same.
Right.
So,
Or if it don't feel the same, you feel like you in a superior position.
that too.
And see, that's what gets you in trouble faster than anything. When you thinking you've arrived and now you calling the shots, you're gonna find out soon enough who really calling the shots.
It really not. It's not you.
It ain't you. It ain't you. So you gotta be careful. You have to be real careful, no matter how you play it. You got to be careful because somebody looking to take you down if you make the wrong step, without a doubt. Well, Brandis, what you think?
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
Don't give them the ammunition. Don't give them reasons. Don't.
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
As much as you can control it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Be in control of what you can control.
Yeah. And I guess it's when you're little, probably stay out of that kind of environment as much as you can. If they doing wrong, you go the other way.
Run fast. As fast as your legs go. As fast as your car can drive you away, whatever it is.
Right, they say, "Oh, you think you too good for us?" I ain't saying you did.
That came from you. I didn't say that. I just simply quietly left and removed myself. You made an assumption about why you think I left.
Yep.
So
somewhere to be.
That's it. Yep.
So, oh well. The world keeps spinning. Hey, summer's almost here.
We're coming up on it,
And
it's still flip-flopping, but better than it was. So we can only go up.
Right. Well, you know how we do every year when summer starts coming, we wonder. Because we done seen enough on the news these last few months to wonder what it's going to be. Well, the weather was good too.
Yeah.
So maybe it won't be a real shock to anybody's system.
Hopefully not.
All right. I'm done. I've said enough. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank y'all for joining.
I'm sure we got something to talk about next time around.
Yeah.
Y'all take care out there.
Take care. Peace.
Peace. Oh, yeah. And don't take no wooden nickels.